Hello once again. Welcome and welcome back. My name is Eric. This channel is called Report and Opine. I believe it to be Sunday, April 5th, 2020, but who's keeping track anymore now, right? And the media hysteria, hypocrisy continues. I mean, we all saw that nice little graphic of all the collage of all the headlines talking about how the flu is worse. Those same organizations have now done a complete 180 and they say, oh, Fox News is going to cause death and Donald Trump didn't do enough early on. Even though we saw from news outlets saying, well, they were actually encouraging people not to wear masks. And now they're saying, oh, you got to wear a mask, a face covering at least. You know, so you can leave the fancy high quality mask for the nurse and the doctors. But when you go outside, you got to tie a scarf or a t-shirt around your face and just wait for our good buddy Bill Gates to show up with the vaccine. It's like, I don't know. And then the WHO, of course, early on was saying, oh, this isn't transmittable person to person. We now know that that's false. We had Pelosi and de Blasio and that little New York health commissioner lady all saying, oh, go see a Broadway show. Join us at the Chinese New Year's parade. Make sure you take the train there and stop off at a restaurant for a beer on your way home. And now they're saying, oh, you're going to get a fine if you stand too close to someone. And we got April Ryan, who is queen of the Orange Man Bad Crew. She took to her Instagram recently to say that a prestigious scientific panel says that it's not just sneezing and coughing, but breathing and talking, you can get the virus that way. It's like, okay, a prestigious scientific panel. April, how about you go ahead and name them? We know that you just want us to be afraid at every turn, so that way we obey your commands, but you're kind of overplaying your hand, right? I mean, little Fredo and now Brooke Baldwin, they got the virus. And, you know, no shade. I wish them all a speedy recovery. But next thing you know, we're going to have these CNN personalities saying, well, you can get it via Instagram. If somebody has the virus and they post a photo and then you like it, you're 100% going to get the virus and it's going to be 2 times worse because it mutates through the iPhone or something like that. I mean, these people are insane. And now the entirety of the media they don't want to air the White House press briefings. And it's like, are you guys oblivious to your reporting from 6 or 8 weeks ago? Clearly they are. But they're saying, oh, Donald Trump, he's telling all these falsehoods and he's giving, false hope. It's like, what? No, he's cutting through your nonsense and you're getting a little nervous that if the people find out the truth, then your jobs are going to be on the line. You're not worried about real Americans who are actually, thinking about how they're going to pay their bills because they're deemed non-essential by the government. You're just like, make sure you tune into us, coronavirus, all the time. We're going to update you on every single death. Stay tuned. And, the folks over at ABC are going to be like, yeah, also when this is over, watch a Disney movie. I'm not really buying all that. And now we've got this story from the National File. Take it with a grain of salt. Loads of links in the description. Check it all out. But they're saying that Dr. Fauci and Dr. Birx might have a little bit of a conflict of interest because of their ties to Bill Gates and the World Health Organization. And I don't know. I wasn't really on board with the whole, King Fauci. Everybody was putting him up on a pedestal, kind of literally. He's like a Mike Bloomberg-sized guy. But anyway, they're propping him up as the smartest man on the planet. And I'm like, he's not really that impressive. But I'm no doctor. So go ahead and check out the article and let me know if you think they have a conflict of interest. Now, we can say with a little more certainty that Bill Gates does have a conflict of interest. He wrote an opinion piece in the Washington Post, or, Washington Compost, of course. He went out on CBS and said something along the lines of, we need to really lock everything down and track all Americans. And no large gatherings are going to occur until everybody's got the vaccine. And you're like, whoa, Bill, calm down. You're kind of freaking us out here a little bit. And I mean, who better than the Washington Post to help Bill Gates push his authoritarian, globalist vaccination agenda on all of us? And speaking of the Washington Post, Jeff Bezos or whatever, of course, he owns WAPO. He did donate $100 million to some nonprofits to help, feed people and stuff. And kudos to him for that. He's got the capacity. That's an awesome thing. But Jeff, you own the Washington Post. So if you want to do some good for everybody, you should gut it from the inside out and rebuild it from the ground up, because they are responsible for this hysteria and, misframed fake news narratives of years past. I mean, they wrote about impeachment on Inauguration Day, so they are a huge part of this fake news nonsense. And if you want to help everybody, just go ahead and wipe it out, wipe it all clean. Janitors, everybody, get them out of there and start fresh. Just a thought. Then we've got Pelosi and Schiff, who are launching an investigation into Donald Trump's handling of this outbreak, which is clearly going to backfire on them. I don't know if they think that we don't have the internet, but we do, and we can see what you were talking about, right? So you were handing out impeachment pins while Donald Trump was forming the coronavirus task force. You were encouraging people to go to the Chinese New Year parade after Donald Trump had banned travel from China. You were tearing up the State of the Union speech where he addressed this issue before it was what we're seeing today. So I don't know why you think that's not going to come back to haunt you like everything else you do. You're going to just step on another rake, Sideshow Bob style. Then we've got Barack Obama, who's using this hysteria to push his climate change narrative, which is absolutely appalling. It's disgusting. What did he say? He took to Twitter. He said, "We've seen all too terribly the consequences of those who denied warnings of a pandemic." Okay. Are you talking about Pelosi and Schiff? Are you talking about de Blasio and the New York Health Commissioner lady? Or are you trying to point the finger somewhere else? I mean, we can all see through this at this point. What are you doing? To use this crisis to push your climate change narrative is disgusting. Then he goes on to say, "We can't afford any more consequences of climate denial." Dude, nobody is denying that the climate exists. We might have a little bit of a difference of opinion on your sun monster narrative, but you're not taking those words to heart because you bought a $12 million mansion on the coast at Martha's Vineyard. So how are you going to do that and then lecture us about climate change while you're living in a house that I'm sure is taking up loads of fossil fuels or whatever it is you guys talk about right on the coast? So as soon as the waters rise, that $12 million piece of property is going to be underwater. What are you talking about, dude? And then he says, "All of us, especially young people, have to demand better of our government at every level and vote this fall." He is using this to push a climate change narrative and encourage people to vote for the Democrats. He can't be out there saying, "Oh, let's reelect Trump." I mean, what's up, bro? You won't even endorse Biden, but you're talking about vote. What are you talking about? Absolutely disgusting. Then we've got a story of a train engineer out in LA who derailed his own train in an effort to drive it into the USNS Mercy. And it's like, how did this man even have a job? If he thought he was going to drive a train off the tracks, clear into the water and hit a ship, there's something else going on up there. And he said something about, the American people deserve to know the truth. And all right, that's fair enough, but it doesn't make sense, dude. I got my own questions about this entire thing, right? I mean, some people are saying that, there's only a handful of people on these ships, and then other people are saying, we're going to hit the apex in a week, and that's when we're going to need all the ventilators that Cuomo lied about, and the hospitals are going to be overflowing, and these ships are going to be packed to capacity. But we'll see. The media's been wrong before. Obviously, they're wrong most of the time, so hopefully this is just another case of that. Time will tell. Then we got Trump, who's trying to take on the drug cartels, which I don't really know what to make of this, because, I mean, if this thing is nearly as bad as everybody's saying it is, then maybe we don't need to divert our efforts, our attention, our resources to the war on drugs right now, especially considering our borders should be more secure than they've been in recent memory amid this whole outbreak. But also, if there's anybody who's not going to bend the knee to the virus, it's probably a murderous drug cartel. So we'll see how that turns out. Then there's a story about a Venezuelan naval ship that took aim at a German cruise ship and sunk their own boat. And it's like, how weak and desperate are you guys? I mean, we know that you've been out of resources for a long time. I mean, from what I can tell, they line up around the block to get gas. There's no gas. There's no groceries on the shelf. You got to basically carry around a garbage bag full of Venezuelan cash to buy a slice of pizza. So the whole thing's a mess. I don't know what they thought they were going to gain from this. This virus just has everybody, myself included, in a frenzy. You know, we're not thinking clearly at this point. And then there's a story about a woman named Maeve Kennedy, who is Robert Kennedy's granddaughter, and she is the niece of Andrew Cuomo's ex-wife. And as she was trying to escape the madness in the DC metro area, she went up to a lake house or something and died in a freak canoeing accident with her son. And this is just so bizarre. I don't know what to make of it. You know, obviously I'm not going to sit here and say there's any foul play, but it's a crazy story. She's trying to save herself from the corona chaos and then dies in a canoeing accident. And then I find out about the Cuomo-Kennedy connection. Perhaps that was common knowledge. It's news to me, right? I knew that Andrew Cuomo was a product of nepotism. His father was governor and his little brother's on television 5 nights out of the week. I've been screaming about that conflict of interest for a long time now, and nobody seemed to care. People still don't care. They're even going on TV together now, and everybody's like, oh, look at the brothers joke about their mom. And it's like, they're propping up this guy for president while his little brother is claiming to be a news personality, and nobody sees the problem here. If Don Jr. was a Fox News anchor, I'm sure somebody would be crying about it, but that's not the point here. Anyway, that is a bizarre story about this woman. Super sad. Who knows what's going on? This stuff is all crazy. And the Cuomo-Kennedy connection might deserve its own video. We'll see where that takes me. But I guess that's it. That's all I got. Hopefully we can all get back to work sooner rather than later. ASAP, as it were. We're going to wash our hands, and hopefully there won't be too much of a pre-virus, post-virus, side effects and all that type of stuff. But until the next one, have a wonderful morning, afternoon, or evening.